Date of birth and where you were born.
Oh, Evelyn Ruby Jensen. I was born 2 miles west of Viborg in 1925, July 3rd, 1925.
Where did Ruby come from?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No, my mom gave some crazy names.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. And I walked 2 miles to school every day, you know, from 2 miles out, every day, first grade on. And Donald walked with us. And don't you know, he would run away from us. He says, "Oh, Dad wants me home working, so you guys, you just come on." And so, of course, we were enough of us. There was Leon and Robert and Waldo and Annabeth and Kenneth. And, well, Kenneth was younger than I. But,
So you walked every day,
well,
even in the winter?
Monday through
Yep.
Friday.
But in the winter too?
In the winter, too. Well, Dad would a lot of times take us. In a lumber wagon, we'd have blankets on us, you know, and stuff like that.
And so were you born at your house? Or were you born
At home, yeah.
Did they have a midwife that came there?
No.
No?
I never asked about that. I don't think so, because I can remember when Waldo was born. Well, his birthday is just a year after mine. Why? Well, how could I remember that? I don't know. I got, just from hearing it so many times, I think.
Right.
Anyhow, Dad went to town to get the doctor, and the doctor, I suppose, took the shortcut, and Dad came around the way because the baby Waldo was already born before Dad got home.
Oh wow! And where you're gonna muffle the speaker if you put on your light.
Why don't you do it?
I
You
don't
did
want
the last
to.
one.
Exactly.
Is that thing kind of scary?
No,
No.
I don't want to be blocking the speaker, and it's at the bottom, so I just want to make sure we can hear you. So.
Okay.
So, you were the second youngest.
Third.
Third youngest.
So how many total kids?
7.
7 kids.
What did your parents do?
Farmers.
What kind of farming was it?
Just corn and raised pigs and stuff like that.
And where does your family come from?
Where did they come from? I think they always lived here. I think they were born here.
They were born here?
They were born here.
Okay.
Grandpa and Grandma Lauritsen lived in Illinois, and then my mom moved up here. You know where the house is, don't you? Yeah, just a block from church. Yeah.
What brought her up here?
Oh yeah, and then I should show you some pictures that I've got. My dad wrote notes to my mom in can't think of when it was, but when they were dating, and he says, "Why don't you come to a young people's meeting more often? Because we need some girls there."
Oh, he was seeking her out.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. I'll show you the
Okay.
pictures later.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. So they got to know each other at church.
Oh, interesting.
So that's where your grandparents met. Do you know how your parents met then?
My parents met at church, I'm sure.
At church? What kind of church?
Bethany Lutheran.
Bethany
Right,
Lutheran.
just right over here, 1 block over.
Okay.
So did you went to the school right here? That's still the school. And how long did you go there till?
Just till 6th grade, then we moved up to the lake, and then I walked to country school from then on. Robert, Waldo, and I. No, let me see. There was only 3 of us, but I can't think of. Let's see. Maybe Robert wasn't with us. Maybe Robert wasn't. Maybe it was just Kenneth and Waldo and I. Just 1.5 miles.
Oh, just a mile and a half.
Just 1.5 miles. Yeah.
Were they one-room schoolhouses? Or?
Yeah, there was 23 in our school with the Mossopines, and have you ever heard anything about the Mossopines?
No.
There was 2 older boys, 18, probably 17 and 18, and here we were kids. They were in 8th grade, you know.
Oh.
And, you know, they evidently hadn't passed or probably had to skip some classes or something, and going. But it was fun going to country school. We got the good ball games, you know. We'd have a good ball game at noon.
Nice.
Because they were good hitters and stuff like that. Gave us girls a chance to play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject?
Oh, gosh, I liked I liked everything, but math was my best.
Not mine either.
And how long did you go to that school?
The 3 years.
3 years?
Until high school. And then Annabeth had gone on the bus, and Vivian had gone on the bus, and they didn't have to pay. But when it came time for me to go to high school, Waldo and I were going to go at the same time. I can't remember why we would be going at the same time. I don't get that. But anyhow, it was going to cost $200 for us to go on the bus.
Oh,
and
wow.
Dad says, well, I can send one of you, but that's all. And so we both decided, well, I don't want to go if you can't go, you know. And so we just said, let's both stay home. So that's what we did.
Huh.
We stayed. We didn't go to high school. I went 1 year,
Okay.
freshman.
Freshman year.
Yeah.
And so you would have had to come all the way to Viborg for high school?
Well, we had to ride the bus. We
Right.
lived far enough out, and we couldn't drive the car. So I mean, we were going to Hurley.
Oh, Hurley.
And Annabeth graduated from Hurley, so we didn't have to pay on the bus. Your mom didn't either, or your grandma,
Yeah.
Vivian.
So what did you do when school was done?
Not your mom, but Vivian.
Yep.
What did you do when school was done?
Oh, I just started working out.
And where was your first job?
Oh, I worked for a family down at Centerville. The mother was in the hospital. I took care of 3 boys, and one of the Mossevines, I don't know if you've heard of the Mossevines. They are a big family, and
Sounds like it.
they're always in everything. But anyhow, this one Mossevine worked there, and they had 3 little boys, and I started making pancakes, and I made pancakes. I had a big bunch when they came in, and they ate all the pancakes, and I made more, and just pancakes and pancakes. I don't know how long I made that. But anyhow, I worked there until she got out of the hospital, and then took care of her afterward. But then my next job was right in Centerville.
Uh-huh.
Those people had a Ace Hardware store. And they would work until 12 o'clock at night. Just think, they would work until 12. That isn't even.
No.
No.
And then I had to stay and watch those little boys. And in the meantime, I had a boyfriend, and he came, and you know, he would sit there, and he said, "Well, aren't they ever coming? So we can go, you know." Well, they didn't come. So, you know.
So you would sneak your boyfriend into the house while you were working?
Well, he sat and visited with me. I was taking care of the kids, but I had to put them to bed and everything.
Uh-huh.
I was just there to take care of them.
So were you living in Hurley and driving to Centerville? Or did you live in Centerville?
No, I must have lived at Hurley.
Okay.
They had to drive me back and forth because I didn't drive.
Yeah.
I didn't have a car.
What was your next job after that? Do you remember?
I have to think about it. Oh boy, I worked for Alfred Holmes. Of course, it's just housework and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just housework. But once you got there, then you stayed for a long time. I mean, if the lady isn't feeling so good or something, then you just.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up with so many brothers and sisters?
You always had somebody to play with.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite?
Of my kids. Waldo and Kenneth were fun.
Yeah.
But I do remember one time an old uncle came to visit Mother. Well, came to visit Dad and Mother, but Dad was out in the field, so then this uncle just visited with Mother, and I had to take Kenneth and take care of him. He was 7 years younger than I, and I took him down to mulberries. You know, we had a lot of mulberries. I just let him eat the mulberries, you know. You know, pretty soon he had shitty pants. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't dare bring him back up to the house because that man was still there, and I thought, well, he was getting kind of miserable, but it finally ended okay. But just little things like that for a little girl to have to handle. What are you going to do?
Right.
What should I do?
So how would you describe your childhood? Was it?
Fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
Because we always had company. There was always, you know, my mother had, well, there was 4 in her family, and my dad had a lot of brothers and sisters. There was always company there, just always company.
Nice.
And so a lot of cooking, but I didn't have any part of the cooking. I mean, I was a kid.
Yeah. But is your mom the one that taught you to do such good housework?
Yeah.
Wash those windows?
And we lived in a 3-room house and 2 bedrooms upstairs, so it was cramped, you know.
Yeah. How many kids in a bedroom?
Well, the boys were all in 1 bedroom, and there would have been 5 boys at one time, and then Ann and I had our own Yeah,
Oh, you lucked out. Just two of you in one room.
we were lucky there were only two girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd think the olden times would be bad, but they were fun.
They were
You
fun.
just got used to whatever you had to do. And
Right.
Do you remember your first car?
I never owned a car of my own until I got married, I suppose. I mean, then we had a joint car.
Then you had a joint car.
Yeah.
What was it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
How did you and Gurney meet?
Oh, he had a convertible, and he would drive up and down the streets of Viborg. And of course, I noticed him, and I don't know how we got together. I just don't know how we got together, really.
How old were you? Do you know?
I suppose 15 or 16.
So he wasn't the boyfriend coming over when you were babysitting?
In Centerville?
No.
You-
It would have been somebody. That would have been just somebody unknown.
And how long until you guys got married after you met?
Oh, I imagine a couple of years, but I tell you, that was something when because Gurney had a sister and a brother, well, and two brothers, and of course Stanley went into the Navy, but Asta and Nels, Gurney's dad, they separated, and so then how was it? She went.
Asta is Kitty Grandma.
She
Right.
went
That was Gurney's
with
mom.
him and left Gurney with all the kids. So he took care of all the kids. And then Stanley decided to go into the Navy, so he left, and that would be one person gone. And then Lily went to high school, and I can remember I was dating Gurney at that time, and we went to Sioux Falls and got her a prom dress. He had to buy it, of course, and buy her shoes and everything.
Wow.
But we skipped school to go and all he had was a grinder. He had a kind of a pickup looking thing, and with a grinder, a round thing on the bottom, and then they would scoop corn in there and grind corn. He'd go to the farmers out in the country, and he'd have jobs all the time. I mean, going from one farm to the next. That's the way they ground their feed evidently in those days. And so that's I don't think I can't think of dating in that car, but I don't remember.
So would you go along with him to these jobs?
Oh, no.
Oh.
That would be when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So I'd be in school.
So he was watching these other kids.
Wow.
He took care of the other kids, yeah. Paid for everything, I mean, because Asta was gone. She was not a good.
Was she in Hurley, or where was she?
She was away. She was away, and then finally Nelson and her came to Viborg, and then they got married, and then that's what they bought. Yeah.
So was that pretty?
They didn't have a good life.
Was that scandalous for
Well,
Asta to?
for my folks it would have been. I mean, my folks would never have, even dreamt of something like that. But Grandma wasn't too much on the up and up on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Asta.
She was a rebel.
Yeah, she was different. She
Yeah.
came over from Denmark. See, she came
Yeah.
over from Denmark all by herself, I think, when she was 18 years old. That would be quite a thing for her.
Yeah.
I don't know everything about her life, but
Right. So do you remember when you and Gurney got married? Was it in Hurley?
no, we went to Laverne, Minnesota and got married.
Oh.
What made you go there?
Donald and Vivian took us. Well, I don't know. We didn't have money for a big wedding. And everybody went to Laverne, Minnesota. I don't know. Maybe it was something with. I don't know why.
So who was at your wedding?
Donald and Vivian. That was Bill.
And then how did you do a lunch afterwards, or did you?
No, we didn't do a lunch or anything like that. But then we lived upstairs over the hardware store. You don't ever remember Nelson's hardware store?
I don't know if I do.
Is that when
Well,
it's
you know where
in
the bar
Hurley?
was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then it would be the drugstore, and then it would be Nelson's hardware, and then there's some steps going upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we lived in an apartment up there. It was a nice apartment.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh boy. Some of these things I haven't even thought about for years and years. But boy, you got exercise there because there was a lot of steps. Oh yeah, and I could wash clothes, but then we had a drain that went out of the washer and just let the water go down to the ground.
Yeah.
But I had to run over to the bathroom behind Art Nelson's store to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And then, of course, we would just have a tub for a shower, you know, I mean, for taking a bath. It just in a big old stair, you know, galvanized tub
Yeah.
in those days.
Yeah, so when you would take a bath with all your brothers and sisters, you would just have to go one after the other one?
One right after the other.
And would it go, oldest gets to go first? Do you remember?
No, the babies, the little kids got to be first.
Oh.
And they were sometimes the dirtiest.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They
they'd
were-
be the dirtiest.
And
Yeah.
Dad would be the last one, but we would change, you know, we'd change some of the water, you know, in
You
between.
would.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be wasting water, you know.
Yeah.
So when you guys got married, he wasn't having to take care of the kids anymore?
No.
Gurney's
No,
brothers
then I
and
just
sisters?
lived upstairs and helped him do something. And then he made his own conveyor. He bought a caterpillar some way, you know, because he was interested in hauling gravel, and he had Leon come and help him. He made his own conveyor, you know, making a conveyor. You have a cat, you'd give the gravel out, and then you'd run it through a conveyor, and then run it up into the truck. But they had to have the conveyor to pull the gravel up and dump it into the truck. Now he had Leon come and help him make that. But we hauled a lot of gravel and hired a lot of men. A lot of these young boys around Viborg worked for us,
Oh.
and I kept books.
So he was an entrepreneur, and then you were the bookkeeper.
I was the bookkeeper.
Huh.
Yeah.
So how long did he do that for?
Oh, a long time. Because we had, and he would, as he got a chance, he would buy more trucks, you know, and we had as many as 5 trucks at one time.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was this in your early 20s?
Well, he would be getting older though. I mean, we were about 20 when he got married or something like that.
When did you start having babies?
Oh, pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So were you living up in that apartment when Wayne was born?
I think I've got a picture of us standing below the apartment with me holding Wayne. I was skin and bones.
Yeah.
I was pretty skinny.
And then did you go, where was the next place you moved to after
Then
that?
we bought, the house right beside Grandma. It
Yep.
was just, we paid $800 for the house.
Yeah.
The wiring was on the inside. Well, anyhow, we finally, every year we would do something, you know, put the wiring inside and stuff like that. And we finally got a house, but it turned out to be a good house after it started from nothing.
Yeah.
And when Dan was born, we moved the house out on the road and put a basement underneath it, and then moved.
Oh, wow. So you took it off of the foundation and built a basement and then moved it back on.
Moved the house back on again.
Wow.
Because when I brought Dan home from the hospital, I walked in on the other side of the road and into the house, and then they moved it over later.
Mm-hmm. So that house, were there 2 bedrooms on the main floor or just 1 bedroom on the main
Let's
floor?
I can't even remember really how that house was.
But you really needed the basement for all those kids.
We needed a basement, well, and then we must have added. I can't remember some of that stuff.
And so was Grandma then living next door at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did Gurney and Asta get along, or
Oh,
did
yeah.
Gurney
Oh yeah,
resent
he never
Asta?
held a grudge for anything that
He
his
really
mom ever did.
Wow. Wow. That
Pretty
says
good.
something about Gurney. Yeah.
And remember that building that used to be back there we called the Salt House?
Salt house.
What would they do with that house?
Settlemeyers lived in that.
Oh.
Settlemeyers lived in that for years and years and years, and with all of their kids. They had at least 4 kids, and they lived out there in the alley.
So why did we call it the Salt House?
Oh, because we at one time hauled salt from Texas up there, and then when we stored it in there, and we called it the Salt House.
Oh, okay. So that was after Settlemeyers left.
Yeah.
So Gurney went from doing the corn, hauling the corn and gravel, and then started going longer distances?
He got rid of some of all the trucks and then just had one, to haul, go down to Texas with.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna think that's really funny when you read that back. Oh,
No, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So he started his own business, and you were the bookkeeper.
oh yeah.
And
Yeah, he really never worked for anybody. He always did his own.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about being a mom?
Good.
Yeah,
I like kids.
yeah.
Did you want to have 6, or is that just how it happened?
Yeah, it just happened. Yeah. I don't think I really would have chose to have quite so many. That's just the way life is, I guess.
Yeah, because the
And
age.
I got all nice kids, so why not?
Yeah, you got some good ones, that's for sure.
So what was it like raising all the kids in that house?
It was kind of hectic some
Was
of
it
the time.
was it wild?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, but I guess they were spaced out, so
Yeah.
all 6 never.
Dan kept pretty close to us. I think we almost had to chase him out. I think he was living in the living room for a while on a Davenport. I mean, before he really decided to. I can't remember what he was doing at that time, but yeah, it was funny.
He wanted to stay pretty close to you.
He was.
He wanted to stay close to you.
I don't think that. No.
How was Gurney as a dad?
Oh, he was perfect. I mean, he would pick up any kid with a snotty nose and wipe their nose. He just loved kids.
Did he?
Yeah. And wipe their, most boys don't do that.
Right.
You'd be on a date, he would pick up any little kid with a snotty nose and wipe their nose and hold them, and then put them down. And most boys aren't like that.
Yeah. How long were you two married?
I don't know. Let's see. Well, he died in 49, and we got married in. I really don't know. I can't even remember what date we got married.
So if Wayne was Wayne living in Madison when he died? So Wayne probably would have been around 18, 19, 20. So
Yeah.
So you were married around 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Beth was 4 when she and her dad died. I think that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
So Wayne had Kevin when he was 16?
Mike.
Or Mike?
No, Mike. Barb was 16 or 17.
Because I know
When-
you and Barb were pregnant at the same time.
Oh, that for the last one. Yeah.
Because Mike and Beth are almost the same age.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think Wayne was in Madison.
Yeah, they were going. Were they going to school or?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what did Gurney die from?
Let's see. Hodgkin's disease.
Was he sick for a while?
Yeah, a year.
Yeah. Was he still working, or how was that? No.
Nope.
Yeah.
So what was it like? What else was my dad like when he was young? Aside from him never wanting to move out.
Oh, the girls liked your dad.
Yeah.
I don't
Was
know.
it the bright
Because
red
it was
hair?
rough and tough, or what it was, I don't know. But
Was it the bright red hair?
I don't know if they liked his hair or not, but I don't know. They just liked him.
No.
Do you remember the story you told me about how he would refuse to wear a jacket to school?
Yeah.
And so he would have to run
I don't know, went to school. Yeah.
so he wouldn't get cold?
Yeah.
Sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, he'd open up the door and take off just a running. School was only 2 blocks, was it?
Yeah, through.
Yeah. So, but he would not wear a jacket.
So could you see that Wayne and Dan were like Gurney?
Pretty much. Pretty much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Pretty much,
similarities.
yeah.
Liked cars, were good at
Yeah,
working on
yeah.
things.
They went up to Madison and raced cars there for a while. And what was his name? Parsons. Parsons would come over and help him work on the car. And, oh, their folks thought, why do they put so much work into that? And they go up there and wreck the cars, and then they come home and work on it again next week, and then go up there again and wreck it again. And that was fun though.
Yeah.
Even for us, I mean, going up there and watching them race and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So did you, with Asta living next door, is that when you, because did you know her before?
No.
Because she was gone.
They just, let's see, they worked out in Oregon for a while. She was in a cafeteria, and Lily was out there too. And then they decided, they had bought that house before and then came home to it. Yeah, because they had rented it out, and then they told them that they were coming home.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get along with Asta in the beginning?
Just fine, yeah, she was easy to get along with.
Okay.
But she would run out to the truck and meet Gurney even before I could get out of the house. When he'd pull up with the truck, well, she'd be out there before I could get out. Oh, yeah.
Beat you to it.
Yeah.
So what job did you have after you did bookkeeping?
After I did the bookkeeping, I didn't work at all. No, I didn't work. I had a lot of jobs. I was a telephone operator for a long time.
Where at?
Fliggers.
Okay.
Haven't you heard of Fliggers?
Uh-huh.
When did you do that?
Oh, I would be about 15, 16, something like that. 33 lines with about 33 people on each line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you had to like do the
plug in and.
Yeah.
So would you listen to people's phone calls?
The big thing was, it just so happened, I didn't even know Bim or anything, but he was working in Center Point at that time at a garage. And one night I got a call. There was a Davenport in the living room, and us two girls would sleep on that, and whoever's night it was to get the calls at night, it was my turn. And I got up and answered the phone, and here it was. A lady had thrown her two babies down in the cistern.
Oh, no.
And in the first place, she was supposed to be helping her husband milk cows, and instead she was getting the kids' clothes laid out on the bed for the funeral because she knew what she was going to do. She went out, and there was snow on the ground, and she would chase the kids around the cistern because she was going to catch them and throw them in, and they would run around and run around. Finally, she caught them and threw them in so they could see all the tracks, around them. Anyhow, I got the call, and I called, and for Center Point people were there first, but everybody came, and that's what they found. The mother jumped in after she threw the two boys.
Oh, what an awful call to receive.
I know.
Hmm.
That's pretty traumatic.
And I didn't even know that Bim worked out there until a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. What are some of your favorite memories that you had?
Oh, favorite.
When you guys were a young family and you had all those kids?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of stuff would you guys do that was fun?
Camping. I mean, we went camping.
Yeah? Where would you go?
Where did we go?
Was it far or close?
No, just close by.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything distinct.
The kids like to camp?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys have any traditions or things around holidays that you always did every year?
Well, we always went into church on, I don't know whether it was Christmas Eve, but anyhow, we'd always get a sack of candy, and we couldn't open it up in the car, but we were packed in the car, you could imagine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'd get home, and then we could open up our sack of candy and have our candy. But one thing about it, when we went to church, we would always stop at the neighbors and pick up 3 kids, as if we weren't enough in our car. Mother would have to stop at the neighbors, pick up the Fryer kids, 3 of them, and put in our car. We were sitting on laps,
Oh my gosh.
but at least we got them all to church.
Huh.
And then my dresses, you know, I'd have to take my dresses off and hang them up because I had to have them, you know, nice for next Sunday. When I got too big for them, Mother would give them to the neighbor girl, and she played in them.
Oh.
First thing you do was she could play in her. They're my dresses that I never could wear. That made me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Gurney died, what did you do then? Were you?
Oh, about 2 days later, why they knocked on the door and asked if I would like to come and work at the meat market, and so I started cutting meat for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And one day, they were going to sell the cafe, and I just thought to myself, you know, I think I'm going to buy the cafe. So I went over to the bank and asked if I could borrow $10,000 and buy the cafe, and he says, yeah, Clark. You know, he says, oh, sure. So I bought the cafe. I didn't have any money. I bought the cafe, and I run it for 6 years.
What made you think about buying a cafe?
I just thought it would be fun.
Yeah. And was it?
It was fun. I liked it. If how was it we do it? I can't remember. Oh yeah, if we had early church, then we would go to church first, and then clean afterwards, and then if we had late church, well then we'd clean the opposite. Either we would be at the cafe cleaning really early in the morning, or else we'd come home from church and then we'd go down and clean. So every Sunday we had to clean the cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your specialty that you would cook for everyone?
Specialty. I had a good cook. I didn't do all the cooking,
Okay.
you know, just on Saturdays. Dorothy Stevens was my cook, and we just had the usual roast beef every day, and then something else. I don't know, you know.
Nice.
We would had a good business.
So you're glad that you decided to buy the cafe?
I like the cafe, yeah.
And you did that for 6 years? What made you stop?
Oh, my cook was leaving, and I just thought, you know, it's just about time for me to quit. And Mary wanted it anyhow, so I sold it to her.
Oh, good. Nice.
I enjoyed the cafe because we were busy. We were really busy.
For you?
Yeah.
And then what did you do after the cafe was sold? Well, how old were you when the cafe?
I don't know.
I was a little kid.
We didn't have much to do with the cafe.
Probably just ate there.
Did Beth or the other kids help you out with working there?
Oh, yeah. Beth did, I know. And I don't know. I just can't remember too much about that.
Did Grandma Asta ever come up there?
Who's that?
Did Kitty Grandma ever come in there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Not much, though. She wasn't really a cafe person. She really liked her own, you know.
Her own space.
Yeah.
So then after the cafe, what did you do?
What did you do after the cafe? Oh, I had to go with Tim up to Canada. Oh yeah, that's what I had to do.
So he had bought the camp.
He was going to run the camp up there, and I remember it was Kevin went with us one year, and that was fun. It was kind of scary when Tim went into town to get the people, and I had to be out there all alone because there was a bear there one day. One Sunday, just Tim and I were there, and we heard some rattling out in our cans, and I said, what's that noise? So Tim went to see, and it was a bear, and he thought, oh, I'll just open up the door, and he went out, and he says, hi, little bear, and that bear stood right straight up, you know, so tall. I was so scared. But from then on, one of them had to stand on the porch when you went to the bathroom because the toilet was way out there, you know, and stand on the door and watch if if
the bear came back.
Yeah. So that was scary.
Yeah, that's an occupational hazard.
And fun to go to the bathroom if you have to hurry or have to wait.
Oh, no.
What was your favorite part about being in Canada?
Oh, meeting the people.
Yeah.
Oh, we met a lot of nice people.
So were you the cook up there, or what
Oh,
was your role?
They cooked their own. I mean,
Okay.
they mostly they fried their fish and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Mike was with us for a while, and Kevin was with us. And let's see, it was a lot of fun. I really liked it.
What was your role there?
Getting the people back and forth and keeping
Okay.
them happy. You know, I
Okay.
mean, you know. Yeah, we met a lot of nice people.
Do you have any funny stories from Canada that you would like to
I
tell?
think I let Tim take the book home. I had a book about all the people, you know,
Uh-huh.
that came up there and how long they were there and everything. I kept a book, and I guess I've forgotten.
Yeah.
That was fun, though. You never came up there. Well, one year we had a reunion up there, didn't we?
I was up several years. One time I kept eating all the bacon faster than you could make it.
Right.
Grandma would bring a couple pieces of bacon in, and I'd eat them and then ask for more, and she couldn't keep up. Yeah.
Do you remember when you first got or saw television?
No, I don't.
No.
Did you listen to radio programs when you were growing up at home?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite? No.
I think when I lived at home, we were so busy outside playing that I don't think we.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember I had a grove to the south, and the trees were around, and I made a playhouse in that in those trees, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, a friend of Annabeth's came out there, and she hung her watch up. She says, "Oh, we'll have a little clock, you know." She hung her watch there, and then she went home and forgot it. And later on, a couple months later, when she wanted that watch back, oh my goodness. We couldn't even remember where the watch was. We finally remembered we had left it out there,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't any good anymore. But that girl, it kind of caused problems.
Not a good play date.
We should have known better than to hang the watch out there and then forget it, but we were just kids.
So how many summers did you go up to Canada?
4.
4 summers? And then Tim sold it.
And what would you do?
We had a fire.
Right.
Yeah, we had the fire. That was a scary deal. Plane landed on on the water right out in front and said that we had to get 10 minutes to get out of there. Oh my gosh, we just packed up stuff and just got in a boat and we took off. And we were in town for a good month or 6 weeks. That was fun though, being there, because then I got a chance to work. Oh, great big building, and they would bring in, I don't know about cooked stuff, maybe they cooked the stuff there, but they would bring in fruit, and well, everybody just pitched in and worked, you know. We didn't get paid or anything like that. We just worked, served meals and stuff, so everybody got something to eat. That was kind of fun. You got to meet a lot of people. In my way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
I have met a lot of people, but now I can't remember.
And then how did you meet Bim?
Oh, let's see. What was it? Well, I think I had kind of known him before, but he couldn't write, you know. He'd lost his arm, so he couldn't write. Anyhow, he called and asked if I would be willing to go along with him to Sioux Falls and sit in on going to the doctor and write for him.
Mm.
So I did that, and we stopped for breakfast before, and then we did, but everything went just fine. rolled all down and everything was okay. And so that wasn't really a date, you know. But then after a while, then we started dating.
How old were you when you started dating him?
Oh, I was working here at the hospital then at that time, and oh yeah, he lived in Ardell's room at that time. That's how I met him.
Oh, so he lived here at the villa?
Here, yeah,
And what were you doing at the hospital?
I was a housekeeper part of the time and dishwasher. Yeah, I had 2 jobs. Some of the Saturdays mostly. Well, no other days too. Yeah, I was a dishwasher quite a bit of the time, and then a housekeeper.
So, and how old were you then? I'm just trying to create a timeline. Sorry.
Oh, it would be just before we got married, and we got married in '91, I think.
In '91. So,
I'd be quite
20
old.
years ago?
I would be quite old.
Yeah, I was about 10,
Okay.
so 25 years ago.
Yeah. So then you just started dating and then how long did you date before you got married?
Oh, I suppose about a year or something like that.
And how did you feel about getting married again?
Well, it wasn't love at first. You know, it wasn't really love, but you know, if I could help somebody out, I'm a helper. And I thought, well, I could do it. It worked out fine.
Do you remember when Bim was getting to learn the rest of the Nielsen's and how there were so many of us? And
No, there was a lot of us.
Yeah.
it was coming into a big family.
But he did like everybody.
Yeah.
And I think most everybody liked him. He was quite likable.
He sounds like a really nice guy. Yeah.
And then you moved to Hurley, or he moved to Hurley. You guys lived in the house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so he moved out of here.
Yeah, he moved out of here. And that's why somebody else was living in this apartment, but we wanted this, so we had to move to, we tried all over town, you know, to get a nice apartment to live in. Couldn't find one, so then we decided to move to Sioux Falls. And we had a nice place up there, and that was one of the best things about my life, because we got to help with the outdoor campus, and it was just starting. Bim sat at the table and he says, "Oh, I see they're going to start an outdoor campus here in town." He says, "They're asking for people to come and help." And so he says, "We're gonna do that." He always made up his mind. I mean, it wasn't me that made up my mind. And so that's what we did. We went to the first meeting, and we were one of the first starters of the outdoor campus.
Outdoor campus is
That's where Erin.
the conservatory, or what is it?
What was it? That's where Erin did the
Donation.
gift.
Yeah, but explain to me what the outdoor campus is.
It's a place where people come, and we train them to do different things. I mean, and we take them for trail walks and teach them all about nature.
Oh, nice.
And so you guys volunteered there for a couple of years?
5 years.
5
because
years?
We couldn't get in here for 5 years, and boy, when they called and said, "Your apartment's empty, we're going," you know, just like that, when we came down. That was really a fun day.
So so your time in Sioux Falls, you liked it because you got to be at the campus?
That was fun, and I had a nice apartment too. And we got to do things, you know, in Sioux Falls, and I was close to church. I drove over to church by myself. I had never driven in Sioux Falls before, you know. For a little country girl,
Yeah.
I came up in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. For sure.
What do you remember about me being a little kid growing up?
Oh, you were a big little kid. Athletics, I mean, you were always busy with athletics. Yeah.
Do you remember when I wanted you and I to organize my mom's picture albums at our house? You came over and we tried to put all of her photos that were scattered all over into photo albums for her.
Yeah, I do that. I do. Yeah.
I was trying to organize her things.
We did a fairly decent job.
Did you? Good.
You and I work alike, because you wanted things neat, and I like that too.
Yeah. Why
What-
we like each other.
What are some of the important lessons you've learned in life?
Whatever you do, do your best.
That's a good one.
And don't be afraid to try out some. Because for a country person, I think that I've done a lot of things, from walking to school,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I guess the people you associate with, you know, and how them or Gurney, first of all, you know, from just not having anything to turning out as good as he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
What advice do you give us young married couples about relationships?
Be true.
Be true.
Yeah.
What are you most proudest of?
My family. Not being afraid to step out and do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good ones. Anything else?
When they asked me to go down to the meat market, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't go down there. Well, you can just paint and clean the shelves, you know. And I thought, oh, I guess I can do that. And the first day I got down there, they said, we need you to come back here and help us wrap meat. And I thought, well, gosh, I don't know how. And they said, oh, we'll teach you. And I wrapped meat for 10 years. So, you know, I never painted. I never cleaned a shelf. I just.
They conned you to get
And
down
we
there.
had a dishpan like this, and it was stacked high with hamburger, you know, to be ground hamburger. And Harry Visser was so much fun, because I'd lay out my paper, you know, and he'd put the pound, you know, he pound just like he was going to have. And he said, well, we're almost done. After putting the first one on, he said, well, and here we had this big, and he said, well, we're almost done. We had started, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just a killer to work with. I mean, he was just so much fun.
Huh.
But that was a big accomplishment for me, to step out of the door and go up there and work.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
And Beth was only 4 at the time, right?
Yeah. Or what had she started school, because she would come home at noon. I'd get off at 11:30, and she'd come home, and then I'd walk her to, I suppose, preschool. She would stay with Grandma in the morning, and then I would take her to kindergarten. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you ever have any nicknames?
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
Dimples. Oh, yeah.
Dimples?
Yeah. My uncle Art would call me Dimples. Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I'd have a little fatter face then, and I did have dimples. Yeah, that was fun. Whatever made you guys think of doing this?
You know, I know Chris has talked about it, but I don't have any grandparents left. And I love all of your stories whenever I come here.
Yeah.
But I only come here like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So I thought it was important that we put it down, and you've talked about it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our memories aren't very good, so we wanted to put it.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of interesting to know a person's background. I mean, really what they have gone through.
Well, you've gone through a lot.
Anything that you wish you would have done or haven't done yet?
No.
Because you can still do it.
No, I've done a lot of things. I've gone a lot of places now. I've gone down to Texas. Well, gone out for your wedding. I mean, I've really gone to Alaska, and I've done more than I ever dreamed I would.
Did you?
And gone down to California many years, you know, to stay with Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Evie, how do you want to be remembered?
What's that?
How do you want to be remembered? fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I still had a memory.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could have done that when I could have remembered a little bit better, it would have been a little bit more.
You were doing great. And you've never dyed your hair.
No.
You've got a good head of hair.
not fair.
Not fair.
Not
Chris is jealous.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have any pets?
No pets.
No pets.
Bim had the pets. Yeah. So I had to put up with them.
Why was his nickname Bim?
Oh, I don't know why. His name was Howard. Why did they call him Bim? I have no idea. I guess I don't know.
Did he like Bim? Or did he want to be called Howard?
I don't really know how he got that name, but I mean, he just had it so long that it's all.
But did you call him Bim or did you call him Howard?
I called him Bim
You called him Bim?
because I didn't even know him when he was Howard. I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Where were you when Kennedy was shot?
Oh, my mom and I were cleaning chickens out in the backyard, and we had to go in for lunch, and we always went in a little bit early because I like to watch the Young and the Restless.
Mm-hmm.
We turn on the TV,
Mm-hmm.
and then the special reports, come on, and I said, "Oh, baloney!" I said, "We got chickens to clean. We got to watch this story and get out there again." And here, that's what it was.
Hmm.
So.
Do you remember the first time you voted?
No, I don't. I don't. I remember the first time I went to borrow money
Yeah.
when I was going to buy the cafe. And
Mm-hmm.
do I dare ask for $10,000?
Yeah.
You
It's a
know?
big loan.
Yeah, it was big.
And then he gave it to you.
Should have asked for more.
That's all I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was easy. I mean, of course, it was somebody I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd been putting my check in the bank all the time and knew Clark, And later, he and his wife and I were real good friends. So.
Yeah. Is there something we should be asking you that we're not thinking about? That we don't know?
Oh, let's see. Oh, I think you know enough about me now. But I was going to tell you something, but I didn't want it to be on there. But now, what was it?
You can tell us later.
But I can't think of it now. Now I've forgotten. Let's see.
Well, thank you for letting us ask you questions.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
You did good.
It's gonna sound crazy.
No, it was great.
It's gonna sound great.
It was good. You